Everyone, good morning. It's Nora Gibson speaking. First of all, my son and I, were very sorry not to make it in time for the complete celebration of life for Pat. Unexpectedly, we were late leaving and ran into unusually slow and heavy holiday traffic, but we did arrive and were able to see the video and meet the family, especially Aaliyah, who I had never met before. So here are my thoughts and my memories on my friend Pat. Dear family and friends, during our lives, we crossed paths with many people. In September 1946, Emma Patricia Irene Conran from Heath Crescent and Nora Christine Margaret McCullough from Heath Street East crossed paths into Miss Wallace's kindergarten class of Deer Park Public School, Toronto. Now, here I am, 79 years later, mourning the loss of my dear friend Pat. Not only were we in class together, but we discovered we were neighbors. Close buddies we became in school, brownies, choir, until grade 5, when the Conrans moved to Port Credit, the end of the world, I felt. I had become a part of their family. I was invited to the cottage, Red Pine, on one of the opening May 24 weekends. I insisted on going swimming in what I thought was an ocean, compared to Lake Solitaire at my grandfather's cottage, the Boulders of Limberlost. Pat's mother was not happy with me in the water by myself. Our parents, too, remained friends, and when my dad got his first car, one of his first excursions was to visit Port Credit and take me on a sleepover at Pat's new home. We did not see a lot of each other in the next 20 years, but we thought we could pick up where we left off. This proved to be true. One day in the early 80s, my stepmother, a physiotherapist with a private downtown Toronto practice, phoned me in Sarnia to come down for a visit and lunch at her office. Intrigued, I did so and arrived at her office to a room full of prospective physio partners who she wanted me to meet. As I was being introduced around the circle of ladies, suddenly in front of me was a very familiar blonde Pat Conran, smiling at me with the big, slightly crooked, toothy smile she had. She and Dorothy had made the connection with our families and was in the surprise meeting. Pat didn't take the job with Dorothy, but the rest of our story is history. We felt we were long-lost sisters as we reconnected our path of friendship. We discovered we had so much in common. I visited her and Bruce at the cottage first, then after they retired, also at the home in Midland. Our visits were filled with Scrabble. See this? My Scrabble blanket? Playing bridge, walks, going to the theater, visiting historic sites, and doing lots of reading and some TV watching. We both had 3 children. Each had a son named Ian. We both worked in healthcare, me as a registered nurse, and Pat as a physiotherapist. Both families loved camping, visiting provincial parks, canoeing and rowing. For us, Pat's family was more into sailing. Then we both traveled extensively after retirement. I mostly to Australia, and Pat and Bruce all over the world. We organized visits with each other as we could. Tragically, we both lost a son. I lost my Ian about 30 years ago, and Pat and Bruce recently lost their David. My husband Russ passed away in 2000, and we both lost our mothers too soon to tragic illnesses. Pat was a caring, wonderful friend. She came down to London when I had my spinal surgery and helped me to rehab properly. She came to our trailer in July of 2006 at Miller Lake when our daughter Leslie and family visited from Australia. She drove up to Limberlost to Grandpa's cottage, now rebuilt by my cousin Peter for a year-round living. We took up lunch for them as Peter's wife had a terminal illness, and we had a good time reliving summer experiences as kids. I think we both bonded so well also because Pat had 2 younger brothers and I had 2 much older sisters. One time Pat was inquiring about my sister Sheila. Lo and behold, my sister bought a home in Toronto in the late 60s at 150 Howland Avenue, which, it turns out, had been in the Conran family, and Pat and her parents had lived in it before moving from Montreal to Toronto in 1942 while looking for a home. Pat and Bruce brought Fred to visit my sister's house. It had not changed much at all, he said, except a back staircase had been closed in and was closet space now. Our connection remained strong even when we didn't see each other. We talked on the phone and emailed each other regularly. It was December 2024 after Christmas. Pat first emailed me that she wasn't feeling well. And then when I called her, she told me her diagnosis. As soon as the winter weather calmed down and the roads were cleared, my son Cameron and I headed to Aberdeen Avenue, Midland. On arrival, Cameron went shopping and Bruce went off to the curling club. I helped Pat out of bed so that we could visit in the living room, only to discover that we were both wearing the same ugly wool sock slippers. We were kindred spirits to the end. We snuggled up on the couch with our coffee made by Bruce and red velvet muffins made by my granddaughter. We talked and talked, especially about losing our sons. We pored over family and school pictures. We walked down the stairs. Pat walked down the stairs with me to say goodbye when Bruce and Cameron returned. This scene will be the final imprint on my heart of our long path of friendship. As the bard Shakespeare said, I can no other answer make about life, but thanks and thanks and ever thanks. Sail away, Pat. Rest in peace, my dear friend.